Headphones on, the whispers begin.
I didn't think much of it when the fuel gauge light blinked on. It had been a long drive, and I'd grown too comfortable with the empty stretches of highway under the moonlight. My playlist hummed softly, the road ahead dark and unending. I figured I could make it another 20 miles, maybe 30, before pulling over. But when the engine sputtered and the car coasted to a stop, reality hit me like a brick wall. The clock read 1:47 a.m. I stepped out into the cold, my breath forming small clouds in the night air. In the distance, a flickering neon sign read, "Mason's Gas and Go." It wasn't much, just a dim light against the void, but it was my only option. Grabbing my phone, I sighed at the absence of signal. No GPS, no calls. I locked the car and started walking. The gas station came into view, a lone structure surrounded by dense woods. The place looked frozen in time, with faded paint peeling off the walls and a rusted truck parked by the side. One pump stood upright, its handle dangling like a forgotten relic. The sign on the door read, "Open 24 hours." Inside, the fluorescent lights buzzed faintly. The shelves were sparsely stocked, filled with dusty snacks and canned goods that looked older than me. At the counter stood a man, hunched over a newspaper. His hair was greasy, his flannel shirt unbuttoned over a stained undershirt. Hi, I said, trying to sound casual. My car ran out of gas down the road. Is the pump working? He didn't look up right away. Instead, he turned the page of his newspaper, his movements slow, deliberate. "Depends," he said finally, his voice gravelly. "You got cash?" "Yeah, sure." I pulled out a 20 from my wallet. "That enough?" He raised his eyes to meet mine, and something about the way he stared made my stomach tighten. His pupils were slightly too wide, his grin a fraction too forced. "It'll do," he said, folding the paper and stepping out from behind the counter. I followed him outside, the cold seeping through my jacket. He moved with a peculiar gait, almost limping, and his hand twitched slightly as he reached for the pump. "You're lucky I'm here," he muttered. "Not many folks come through this late." "Yeah, I'm lucky," I replied, trying to mask my unease. He inserted the nozzle into a red gas can and began filling it. The silence stretched thin between us, punctuated only by the sound of the gas flowing. When the can was full, he handed it to me. "That'll get you going," he said. "But why don't you come inside and warm up first? Got coffee?" I hesitated. My car was only a 10-minute walk back, and every instinct screamed to leave. But something in his tone made it clear he wasn't really asking. "Sure," I said reluctantly. The moment I stepped back inside, I regretted it. The air was thick, musty, and the lights cast strange shadows on the walls. The man moved behind the counter and poured 2 cups of coffee, sliding one toward me. I didn't touch it. "So," he said, leaning against the counter, "what's a young thing like you doing out here alone?" I forced a laugh. "Just heading home." "Home, huh? Must be nice to have one." I didn't respond, focusing instead on the clock above the door. The second hand seemed to drag unnaturally, each tick echoing louder than the last. "Hey," he said sharply, snapping me back. "I'm talking to you." "Right, sorry," I mumbled. "It's late, I should get going." Before I could move, his hand shot out, gripping my wrist. His nails dug into my skin, and his grin widened, revealing teeth yellowed with age. "Leaving already? I thought we were just getting acquainted." My heart thundered in my chest. I yanked my arm back, but his grip tightened. "I don't want any trouble," I said, my voice shaking. "Trouble?" he echoed, laughing softly. "Oh, sweetheart, you don't know what trouble is." In one swift motion, I grabbed the coffee cup and threw it in his face. He screamed, clutching his eyes, and I bolted for the door. My legs burned as I sprinted back to my car, the gas can sloshing in my hand. I didn't look back. Reaching the car, I fumbled with the canister, spilling gas everywhere. My fingers trembled as I twisted the key in the ignition. The engine roared to life just as I saw him emerge from the trees, his face twisted in fury, a wrench in his hand. I slammed the accelerator, the tire screeching as I sped away. In the rearview mirror, his figure grew smaller, but the image burned itself into my mind. I didn't stop driving until I reached the next town, pulling into a well-lit diner parking lot. As I parked, I glanced at the gas can on the passenger seat. Scrawled on its side in thick black marker were the words, "Next time, don't run." Would you like to hear more creepy tales? Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any stories. Here I leave you a story that will scare you. Listen to it if you dare.